strength is really how to transform hearts and minds of people effectively for peace. You know, how to calm down the mind, how to transform negative emotions, how to let go of violent tendencies, and actually how to reach the human heart. You know, if we look at international peace building today, it's mostly focused on governance, our economy, development, security, justice, human rights, and so on, thinking that if we have all these systems and structures in place, somehow this is the recipe for sustainable peace.
The international community has not been very successful. The international development community has been providing basic services and building basic institutions, but that doesn't seem to be sufficient to build trust and cohesion in societies that are ethnically so torn. And perhaps this global initiative can start to build peace, trust, and cohesion at the level of the individual, at the level of the community, at the level of the nation state in these countries that can rebuild these ties.
احنا ندعي الأمن والاستقرار للمجتمع. إذا أني الأمن والاستقرار مو بداخلي، شلون أأمن الاستقرار للعائلة وللمجتمع؟
So traditional peace building efforts focus mostly on external conditions and factors, like systems and structures. Now what we want to do is bringing the human being back to the center of peace building efforts and actually focus on the inner lives of human beings as a crucial locus for decision making and behavior. So what we do is actually laying the foundation for sustainable peace. It's like creating the soil in which the peace efforts of other individuals and organizations can actually take root.
Because everybody wants peace. Peace is an innate need of people. But they don't know how to get rid of the negative emotions, negative tendencies, anger and frustration. That education is needed in the world today, to teach people how to let go of the negativity, let go of the past and move to the future.
If we see today, there's a lot of anger, greed, frustration, fanatism, intolerance in the world. Now, if we fail to address these driving forces, we will never be able to create a sustainable peace. So we think it's really the need of the hour to start investing massively in the inner lives of human beings as well.
Our approach is rooted in the human dignity of every person, in care for humanity, and in universal human values. This very secular, human-centered approach has allowed IAHV to work with all sectors of society, including international institutions, governments, managers and CEOs, religious leaders, refugees, victims of violence, youth, terrorists and rebels, prisoners and children, bridging religious, ethnic and social divides. IAHV works with all people on all sides of conflict, both victims and perpetrators of violence, from the marginalized in the slums to the hubs of world power.
في الحقيقة هي لا تتعارض مع القيم الدينية الحقيقية، بل نحن نجد في الدين الإسلامي الكثير من الممارسات التي تعتني بالتنفس وتعتني بالطريقة الصحيحة للتعاطي مع البيئة ومع الواقع.
أشعر بسعادة عندما أرى رابطة دولية لها امتدادات تعمل من أجل الإنسان ومن أجل القيم الإنسانية التي لا تنتهي.
With ownership and empowerment at the core of its programs, IAHV fosters self-sustaining change driven by people themselves.
In in conflict and war zones, masses of people are affected, sometimes millions. And our traditional approaches to healing, to empowerment, are often limited to one-to-one interactions. So the strength of our program is that we can actually reach large numbers of people and at the same time have a very deeply individual personal transformation.
IAHV's programs focus on changing the inner lives of human beings as a core locus of conflict, violence, and peace dynamics. They effectively transform minds, hearts, attitudes, and behaviors that enable people to shun violence and contribute to peace. We believe personal transformation is fundamental for sustainable change and the manifestation of social peace.
I realize that my colleagues and myself have wasted our life in this useless war. Now we feel we were totally wrong. When we return, we have a lot to do with what we have learned here.
IAHV is unique in the world, offering a practical approach that goes to the roots of the problem while spanning a global reach. According to our understanding, individuals behave violently against others or oneself due to two main factors: ignorance and stress in the broadest sense. Stress in the body, mind, or emotions, including anger, fear, hatred, greed, fanaticism, frustration, trauma, or depression, negatively influence our perception, interpretation, decision-making, and behavior. We perceive situations in a one-sided way, react instead of act, engage in destructive instead of constructive behavior, act upon negative emotional impulses instead of reason, and narrow our sense of possibilities. Ignorance prevents us from knowing how to deal constructively with negative emotions, challenging situations, and internal or external conflicts. IAHV peacebuilding programs aim to remove both stress and ignorance. By removing and dealing with the causes and manifestations of stress and ignorance at an individual level, human values, which we consider the intrinsic nature of all human beings, start manifesting naturally. Human values such as cooperation, responsibility, friendliness, and a sense of belongingness are present in every human being as the infinite potentiality, but they need to be rekindled to thrive and grow. When individuals are more peaceful, they reflect that in their behavior and positively affect interpersonal relationships and community life. The cumulative results of individual transformation then lead to less violent and more peaceful environments. IAHV offers accessible trauma and stress relief programs for people affected by war, violence, and conflict. Research has shown that these programs are effective in rapidly and significantly reducing the symptoms of PTSD, depression, and anxiety, and improving the quality of life. They teach participants how to process their emotions and stress through the breath, to shift their attention away from reliving the past towards future possibilities. The programs help people not to react out of anger or turn violent and divisive in the aftermath of war, violence, and loss, but instead to channel this dynamic energy to strengthen their resolve against violence and contribute towards the betterment of society. Participants leave the workshop with stress and trauma management techniques, healthy coping strategies, stronger community bonds, and a sense of personal power.
האמת, אני לפני שזה התחיל לנו, הייתי קצת יותר פחדנית בכלל, ועכשיו זה עוזר להתגבר בדברים. המשפחה שלי רואים בזה גדול.
זה מרגיע אותנו, זה מוציא אותנו מכל הטירוף הזה של הקסאמים, וזה
לא חושבים על כלום, לא
שקט של כמה שניות.
יש
Here we learn how to overcome our fear and uneasiness. Feel significantly better after this technique. All the negative emotions you had in your soul left you. After the course I feel great and super strong. You love everybody and everything. The children are relieved from stress. They feel themselves more relaxed. They understand each other better, including themselves. These sessions help them to decrease their aggression.
هذه التقنية الجديدة التي نتعلمها في هذه الدورة هي تقنية جيدة جدا تساعد الإنسان على الاسترخاء وتساعد الإنسان على أن يكون بصحة أفضل وواقع أفضل.
C'était un peu difficile pour nous parce que là, on voyait des cadavres, des choses qu'on n'avait jamais vues. On voyait des gens qu'on égorgeait. On voyait des cadavres vraiment pourris, ça pourrissait comme ça. On voyait des chiens qui mangeaient les corps humains. Alors vraiment, c'était un peu difficile. Donc on avait vraiment un peu de stress.
Nous avons vécu, comment dirais-je, des atrocités. Nous avons vu des horreurs. Nous avons vécu dans l'outrage en fait.
Tout le monde a eu problème dans cette guerre-là. Mais je sais que où je suis le plus même qui a été vidé de stress et de traumatisme.
Vraiment, je me sens aujourd'hui à l'aise parce que je ne suis plus dérangé par ces troubles, ces stress. En tout cas, actuellement, je sens la joie encore. Je suis libre, je suis libéré. Oui, j'ai la joie au cœur.
Et tout ce qui se fait mon corps, mon cœur, bon, aujourd'hui, ça me fait sourire. Bon.
Je suis vraiment déchargé, mais où je suis, j'ai tout oublié. Où je suis là pour dire je garde rancune à quelqu'un, même non. C'est même qui est volé chez moi. J'ai pris Dieu aujourd'hui que je croise cela pour les former. Pour qu'ils suivent cette formation, vraiment pour qu'ils puissent faire la paix en Côte d'Ivoire.
Through a wide variety of educational, cultural, service and development programs, IAHV bridges the divide between groups and communities and brings people together on the basis of shared human values while celebrating their diversity.
חומות נשברות כזה, זהו, כאילו.
אני חושבת שאי פעם נגיע אפילו להסכמה, ואני אוהבת אותך, ממש, כאילו, וזה לא היה, כאילו, אני לא יודעת אם הייתי מסוגלת לעשות את זה אפילו פעם, כאילו, אני לא יודעת אם הייתי מסוגלת לעשות את ההפרדה הזאת.
אנחנו פשוט אותו דבר, אנחנו בני אדם, כאילו.
ממש יכולנו להרגיש, לא רק אני יכולתי להרגיש שנוצר פה משהו כמו משפחה, ממש כמו משפחה.
Mon souhait est que si toute la Côte d'Ivoire, toutes les villes de la Côte d'Ivoire pouvaient reçu cette formation-là, vraiment ça fait que au des négociations là-bas, par-ci par-là, en 2 jours, on va finir ça. On va finir avec ce qu'on n'est pas là.
Cette formation même peut ramener la paix rapidement.
On peut aller déjà dans 1 an, tu ne vas pas aller trouver un jeune qui est en train de faire palabre dans la rue. Non.
On allait d'abord, on était un peu réticents l'un envers l'autre parce que c'était pas facile de regrouper nous, qu'on soit ensemble, des jeunes guerriers, des jeunes djoula. Parce que c'est les 2 communautés qui sont réfléchies ici. On dit qu'on va être dans le même coin. Ça...
Au début, sincèrement, c'était pas facile. Pour nous, c'était pas facile. Bon, on mettait des barrières entre nous. Bon, quand on dit de former un groupe, les guerriers se mettaient de l'autre côté, les djoulas de l'autre côté.
On a commencé à se pardonner les uns les autres.
Mais après le stage, on a vu que c'était inutile quoi. De se mettre une ethnie par là et l'autre ethnie par là, c'était inutile. On a vu que nous étions tous des frères et sœurs. On a passé le temps, on a passé le temps dans les palabres pour ne rien inutilement.
Solidaire, on travaille. Donc sérieusement, merci beaucoup pour ce stage-là. Ça fait que ça nous permet de...
Though we know each other only for 3 days, we look at each other differently as brothers and sisters. How the person behaves is not important. It is important how you understand him. It is important to understand the other person, to search for the best features of him. Children forget about the difference of nationalities, origins, and ages. And you see how the Caucasus is forming one family.
Foundation for 25 years have worked on programs that have been at the core of my public life, promoting peace, combating violence and drug addiction, empowering our youth. It has an incredible, actually incredible following that cuts through all religions, cultures, and backgrounds. A very, very difficult thing to do in today's world.
IAHV offers programs to facilitate the rehabilitation and reintegration of ex-combatants in society by helping them to reduce and prevent violence, release accumulated stress, and transform negative emotions, reconnect to themselves and others, empower them to achieve their goals in a non-violent way, and reintegrate in society.
I thought to myself, what I was doing was wrong. Beating and killing people was wrong. Accepting people with love is the right thing, is the only right way. Make people happy and be happy within oneself. That is the right thing to do.
I was named Muhammad, but after becoming a militant, I was called Khalid. We had been taught to operate guns, arms, and train other youths. But now, after doing the Art of Living course and meeting Sri Sri, we realized we had chosen the wrong path. We now want to spread love and non-violence in Kashmir.
I want to educate people with more broader and liberal mindset, change this religious fanaticism in the world. Everyone has to join hands and re-educate or reprogram this culture of violence.
IAHV offers effective workshops that decreases the stress, anxiety, and sleeping problems that many returning veterans experience. Research by Stanford scholar Emma Sapala found that post-traumatic stress disorder decreased dramatically in participants of a week-long IAHV workshop and remained lower a year later, suggesting lasting impact.
You have to kind of detach from your humanity to do that over there. And you come back and you have a hard time reattaching to normal civilian life.
I think the death and the dying that I saw there grabbed a hold of me daily. We were getting mortared daily.
I know I lost something, but I'm not really quite sure what it was that I lost.
My fiance and I started having some trouble, and I was drinking a lot.
I had bad dreams, panic attacks, anger. I had a lot of anger.
I lived on antidepressants, which I have lived on for the last 4 years. I've been on every one that's probably been available.
I felt lost. I attempted suicide twice. Substance abuse. Just anything that would ease the pain.
It's like you're you again from 3 or 4 or 5 years ago.
My ex, he said, I really like this new guy. You remind me of the guy that I had met years ago.
I'm not taking any medication for anxiety. I'm not taking any sleep aids. I'm not taking any meds. And that is not a giant step, that's a giant leap.
I really think that I have improved about 75% in just the last 2 months. That's where this program really probably helped me more than anything, is it kind of gave me myself back,
That's just a gift that's been given to me. Maybe one more chance to get things right.
Participando en el proyecto, han estado abiertos a todos los programas, supuestamente será el grupo más difícil de aquí de Curundú.
y ha sido una experiencia fabulosa. Antes era una persona bien reservada, serio, grosero, bastante pegón, rizo, pero ya cambió bastante. O sea, sé apaciguarme, controlar la ira.
Buenísimo, excelente, radicales.
Although the boys continue to live in slum conditions, with their enemies on all sides, they have resolved to live a violence-free life and are becoming known in the community as the boys that breathe.
El mismo apoyo que tenemos porque es como si fuéramos un grupo también. Formamos un grupo, pero no es ni un grupo vandálico ni nada de eso, sino un grupo para darle clase a otras personas que lo necesitan, que estaban igual que yo antes.
O sea, una satisfacción al ver que de repente todos los jóvenes eran violentos y ahora, o sea, tienen otra actitud. Y eso es lo que mucha gente se pregunta.
Personas que también merecen el cambio. Y bueno, si hay que echar para adelante y enseñarle, le podemos enseñar lo que nosotros hemos aprendido, a cambiar de persona, para cambiar de mente, a ser una persona buena.
While working on their own development, the boys are also helping keep this planet green by assisting in an organic garden. They have planted 700 pounds of vegetables for the orphans. They plan to do the same in the ghetto in order to get regular income instead of taking part in crime.
Ha sido una bendición por contar con la fundación para arrancar el programa. Ha sido la parte inicial y ya nosotros entonces vamos a complementar con otros elementos para que sea todo un proceso integral, ¿no? Y que podamos lograr entonces final el objetivo, que es que estos jóvenes puedan insertarse en el mercado laboral normal, que puedan dejar atrás las armas, la violencia y que lleven una vida normal como buenos ciudadanos.
Antes agarraba a un niño en mi casa y le metieron un cocorrón si no me hacen un mandado. Aquí me hacen maldad, yo nada me río. Uno cambia bastante.
Prison Smart is a unique rehabilitation program for prisoners that aims to break the cycle of violence and harmful behavior in society by effectively transforming the minds, attitudes, and behavior of prisoners, preparing them with practical life skills upon their release.
The prison program offers stress management and rehabilitation training for inmates as well as staff, the first of its kind, reducing violence and drug dependence in hardcore criminals.
Most of them that I see here become more calm, they become more motivated.
Som jeg aldrig har oplevet i samtaleterapi. Jeg tror næsten, som jeg kan huske, er det næsten 100%, der giver virkelig positiv feedback. Og det har jeg aldrig prøvet før.
Vi har alle sammen en masse kvaliteter inde i os selv. Vi har alle sammen en masse potentiale, som vi måske ikke har brugt til det rigtige til. Og det er det, som det her drejer sig om. Det er at fjerne nogle af de ting, som man kan se. Ligesom foran solen, ikke? Selvom der er sorte skyer foran, så er solen der altid alligevel, ikke?
Jeg har prøvet mange ting i mit liv, der har jeg sgu. Også med systemet, at man skal prøve dit og dat, fordi det nok skal hjælpe og rende mig, og det har ikke hjulpet en skid, og der er ikke en skid, der har hjulpet noget. Men jeg synes, for første gang i mit liv, synes jeg ligesom, at man kan mærke, at det herude, det... Jeg ved ikke hvorfor, men det er noget fuldstændig andet. Det er det fuldstændig, og det hjælper, det gør det. 100%.
As far as for my recovery, I'm a lot more acceptable and tolerant with people now. You know, as far as I don't get up as upset as I used to, because I'm known to have a very violent temper. But like I said, the breathing for me, it helps me calm down, and it's really good.
IAHV aims to build resilient individuals and communities by strengthening the resources and capacities to live in peace, deal with conflicts in a non-violent way, and being able to handle challenging situations. At the same time, the programs help people to overcome the negative effects of a breakdown in resilience. When in July 2012, large-scale riots in Assam, northeast India, claimed 58 lives and rendered 400,000 people homeless. 3 villages where IAHV had been carrying out its community development programs saw absolutely no incidents of violence. Considering that the village inhabitants are a mix of Boros, Muslims, Assamese and Bengalis, this was an exceptional display of unity and non-violence against forces of division. In order to drive processes of change and transformation towards inclusive and sustainable peace, we need leaders at different levels of society with a distinct and well-developed set of skills, attitudes and values. IAHV's practical and effective training program, Transformational Leadership for Excellence, focuses on skills that effectively advance people and processes of change, and on leading societal transformation through personal empowerment and dynamism. TLEX enhances leaders' self-awareness and ability to remain calm and focused in the midst of adaptive challenges. It empowers them to take tangible steps towards realizing their vision for sustainable peace and development, to instill courage, to remain positive, and to transform challenges into opportunities. It fosters among training participants a sense of connectedness to each other and their shared mission, and inspires them to work together to exceed expectations. The Youth Leadership Training Program combines stress management and empowerment techniques with leadership, teamwork, and communication skills to improve intergroup relationships and develop strong leaders in communities. Convinced that women have a crucial role to play in the creation of peaceful societies, IAHV's programs pay special attention to women's well-being and their empowerment at home and in all sectors of society.
من قلت إنه فعلا هو نقطة تحول في حياتي، فعلا كانت نقطة تحول في حياتي على مسارات شخصية كبيرة جدا، حتى على مسارات قرارات على مستوى شخصي. لي تأثير على النساء ولي تأثير في مجتمعي وهذا كله يتطلب اني انا اكون صحيه كجسد صحي كنفسيه صح حتى اقدر انه اتعامل معه، خاصه واحنا نتعامل معه.
For humanitarian, development and peace-building organizations working in or on conflict, IAHV offers training in stress management, self-management and self-nourishment. The training helps local and international staff to work effectively in the challenging environments of war and conflict, and to prevent long-term negative consequences, while it deepens our understanding and experience of inner peace.
So sustainable peace requires complementary activities by multiple actors. So we would like to invite like-minded organizations to partner with us in a holistic approach so that we can actually together increase our impact for peace.